Alright, hello and welcome back to Let's Play yet another No Name Main game. Today's No Name Main game is, of course, Vanguard 2 by SNK84. So we're talking surprisingly early video game here, and as you probably saw in the intro, it's one of those free-form shoot-em-ups. I've taken the liberty of turning on auto-fire, and so, if I were to guess the premise, you are a ship flying around and you have to destroy pods, perhaps 50 of them. Your first button is a nice handy shot, and your second button are bombs. Assumedly ones you can use to destroy the pods. Let's see, how close do you have to be? Close enough. Yeah, you do kind of have to be close. It helps that the pods are, like, giant, but, yeah. And so, if you press the opposite direction and you're going... What? Okay, so if you press the direction opposite of what you're going, you slow down for a little bit, but then you keep going again. I don't understand why you would keep going. Also, evidently, you can just kind of fly around. Oh, the battlefield loops around. Kind of reminds me of, like, old games like Tribes, where you can just, like, leave the battlefield, and it's like, hey, dude, you left the battlefield, game over. That was great. So, I mean, it just... Hey, how did that happen? Oh. Must just be one of those power-ups that activates in the beginning when, you're just starting out, like the temporary invincibility common to most games. So, I mean, earlier on I said this was kind of one of the first video games. I implied it. And, well, here you can kind of see it feels like it's one of the first video games. This, oh man. I think one of the biggest problems is that it's 8-way controls, so if you want to go in a different direction, like, you're going all the way. It's just 8 directions. And I mean, I can understand 8 directions on a joystick, and I can kind of understand you wanting to do 8 directions in a game. You're like, well, the joystick is 8 directions, you have to control everything. But games don't work like that. And then also, too, I mean, what's the point of using the 8-way on the joystick if the ship isn't just going in any arbitrary direction you choose on the joystick? Like, you could just press the opposite direction and turn around, do a 180 all the way. I don't know. This is one of those times where it's like video games have progressed and we're thankful for it. That being said, I mean, you've got some mildly entertaining action. Ultimately, I mean, the control scheme, it just dampens like everything. Like, all I can do is just kind of limply float around in this place and then maybe destroy pods. But yeah, that's another big thing. So, I mean, it's really hard to destroy the pods because you have to be, like, flying at just the right angle. You have to, like, basically plan ahead. But I mean, you see that targeting reticule, it's essentially at the end of the screen, so, I mean, you kind of have to know where the pods are going, and if you miss it, then you get to do an awkward 180, fly around, come back, and that wasn't even enough, that wasn't even far enough. Although I do appreciate that the enemies just kind of, like, hang around, just outside of my reach, and they kind of move around with me, so they just are basically waiting to be shot. That's considerate in a game that, like, has clunkier controls than... A game that has controls this clunky, I don't know. Still, I mean, it's good to see that SNK's gotten a lot better, but dang, this is pretty atrocious. Like, I'd imagine a more sensible layout would be left and right kind of changes your ships, or it changes the angle your ship's going at. So you press left and then your ship slowly turns around. Also, yeah, it would make more sense for your ship to be able to hover, just because, I mean, the constant propulsion thing, it gets a little annoying. Also, too, in, like, games like this, where they really want to precision aim the target. Plus, too, I'm like a freaking bomber. I mean, that would... You can even justify it plot-wise. Like, what kind of bomber fighter wouldn't be able to hover around so he can precision strike? Kind of think of it as the hummingbird of attack airplanes. Alright, well, I can't see myself destroying 50 pods. That's out of the question. But I might be able to destroy the major big thing in the center is the point bonus. I don't know though. I get the distinct feeling that you're not supposed to do that. Wow, it's throwing everything at me, which isn't much. I mean, it is Vanguard, but actually, yeah, I haven't even touched on Vanguard 2. There was a Vanguard 1. I can't even imagine what that's like. Okay, I can imagine what it's like. Exactly the same as the thing in the center lives on. Well, you'll live on yet another day. That was Vanguard 2. And I mean, everything else is nice. I mean, it looks nice. It doesn't necessarily sound nice, but that's kind of in that era where you can be forgiven for not having background music. You really should if you're a game designer. But the controls, everything just boils down to the controls, which are atrocious at best. So, oh my gosh, did you see that? He just destroyed the Death Star. What the crap? Wow. So you can destroy the Death Star. And that actually seems like the most interesting thing to do in this game. Yeah. Well, Vanguard 2. It probably got better with Vanguard 3. And on that note, the scats got a scat.